is going on, guys? It is your girl, Geneva Marie from Living Out Loud. And thank you so much for tapping on my video. Thank you so much for joining my community and checking in with me. Listen, this is my first video and kind of my backstory to my GLP-1 journey. And so I'm going to share with you guys, kind of the foundation of how this started, where it came from, what got me here. I mean, I'm not going to tell you like my whole, like, how did I get fat or overweight? Why do I do that? Sorry. How did I get overweight? But I am going to talk about how I got to the place of deciding to go on this GLP-1 journey and, what got me here and what helped me to make the decision. So, listen, my entire life, just about, I think since the age of like 12, I have been overweight. I've been battling and fighting obesity. And it's attached to a whole bunch of different things, right? One is, it is, hereditary. So it does run in the family. My mother was overweight and her family was overweight. And, my sister, myself, and we all were overweight. And it also is attached to trauma. There was a lot of trauma growing up, and I found my comfort and I found my peace in food. And that's ironically like why they call it comfort food, right? It to me in my mind would give me comfort. And because I was 5 years younger than my sister and my brother, I found myself spending a lot of time by myself, and I would spend time by myself actually just kind of hoarding snacks and food and eating. And my father owned a video store, and of course at the video store he had videos for rent, but he also had all the snacks, right? The candies, the cookies, the popcorn. And I would spend a lot of time there, and I would find myself eating the junk. And from there, it just kind of grew and it increased. And the more trauma in life that happened, the more comfort I found myself getting from food. And so I've been on so many different diets, you guys. Excuse me, let me get some water. I've been on so many different diets. I mean, Weight Watchers, Atkins, keto, intermittent fasting, and the most recent before this journey that I'm on here is Optavia. And so with Optavia, I think I had the most success. But the reality for me is it was not sustainable. It's very expensive. But then also, you're not eating all of your whole foods, right? And this is my experience. Other people have done great on Optavia and lost tons and tons of weight. But I ended up losing somewhere around 50 pounds. So I did end up getting down to somewhere around like 240 pounds. I'm sorry, 340 pounds during that journey, which lets you know that I started somewhere around 390, came down to like 340 pounds. And then life happened, and I went through a very emotional situation where there was a separation. The Lord had called me kind of out of the place where I was with the people that I was, and I went through this whole transition, and I went back, and I ended up gaining back more than I lost. And so I had to learn and realize that this is not just a GLP-1 issue. This is not just a bad habit issue. This is not just, a hormonal issue, right? I also have, PCOS and gone through these, fluctuations and different things, but this is deeper. This is something that is also for me very spiritual. And so I ended up having to go, and I found myself in this group with these women, and this woman that I know from some years back ended up, putting a note out there to see who wanted to join. And there was this program, it's called Losing Weight God's Way. And so it started with about 10 of us. I think it ended out with maybe 7 of us by the end of it, but it was an 8 week kind of program. And there's a book, there's a workbook with it. There are deliverables, there's homework, there's things that you have to really be able to do to kind of work on the deep work, right? And it helps you to refocus your focus on food, your relationship with food. Why are you going towards the food, right? What's the underlying reasons for it? And so I started that in November, actually the first week of November 2024. And at that time, you guys, like I said, so May or so of 2023, 22 is when I stopped or kind of relapsed from the Optavia journey, and ended up gaining all the weight back that I had lost plus some. So at this point in November, I was at a height of 411 pounds. This is the biggest I've ever been in my entire life. I had joint pain, my body pain, tons of inflammation. I felt sick. I was always tired. And mentally and emotionally, I was drained because I knew that this is not where I wanted to be. This is not who I wanted to be. And this is not where I wanted to stay. And so I joined this group, and every Thursday we would connect and we would talk, we would pray, we would encourage one another, we would talk about this journey, we would go over the homework, and I had to realize that I was putting food in the place of God. And so I had to make a choice and a decision of, is food going to continue to be an idol for me? Or am I going to allow God to be the thing that I idolize, and that I put my faith and my trust in Him to begin to break some habits, to begin to deal with some trauma issues and some childhood traumas that caused me to go on this journey that I had been on? And so it was definitely by design of God, because it wasn't just the classes on the Thursdays, but then there was also some mentorship connects that I was able to get with, and started to go through this mentorship program and really break off some of these generational things, these traumas from childhood, and really get to the root of why food had become an idol for me. And so I went through this journey, but prior to starting my GLP-1 journey, I had lost 21 pounds. So I came down from 411 to 390 in somewhere around 3+ months. So I started that in November, the first week of November, our first Thursday in November, and then ended up starting my GLP-1 journey on the 14th of February. And so in January, I ended up having my annual doctor's appointment, and I got a new doctor. And I just wanted to kind of take this journey a bit more serious. So I went in, did my physical, got some, blood work tests and all of these things. And talking with my doctor about the journey that I'm on and how I've been on these ups and downs and going through all these things, he mentioned to me, he said, GLP-1. Let's talk about it. Let's think about it, right? Let's kind of figure out if this is something that may be beneficial for you. And so I listened to him, and I listened to his experience for years, right, with his patients that he has prescribed GLP-1 medicine, and their success on it and how it's worked for them. And it helps with more than just appetite suppression. It helps with food noise. It helps with cravings. And after the first conversation with him, I was like, okay, give me the prescription. But when I left, I was like, there's no way I'm taking that stuff. Like, I've heard all kind of horrible things, people getting sick, people dying, well, not dying, I think that's an exaggeration, but people definitely getting very sick from it, and thyroid cancer and all of these things. And I decided I was going to do some research. And so as I was still going through this journey of just finishing up the journey on losing weight God's way, also getting into my mentorship program with my amazing mentor, and just kind of working through some things, also connecting with my life coach that I've been working with for somewhere around 5 years now. I knew, like, this is the time where I'm about to make a change, and I'm not going to look like what I used to. I'm not going to feel like what I used to. I'm not going to do the same things that I used to. And it's time for like some drastic changes. And so I ended up deciding that I would do some research. So I was YouTube, Google, right? All of these different things, talking to some people that I know that are on their GLP-1 journey. And I came across a video from a woman named Countess of Shopping, and she has tons, like over 600 videos. She's been on this journey for like a little bit over 2 years. She's lost like 106 pounds. Okay. On this journey, there's so many other people on YouTube that have lost tons of weight on the journey. And now they're in maintenance and they're keeping the weight off, and, just the lifestyle change that they've experienced. And so I found myself saying, okay, I at that point was like, okay, I think I'm I think I'm ready to fill my prescription. But I wasn't completely sure. So I ended up coming across this final lady who I ended up watching, and she's a internal medicine doctor, and she actually did a full breakdown of like how a lot of the things that they're saying are issues are not issues, and some of those things that are issues are just because people are not doing the right things while taking the medicine, so they are triggering themselves to experience more gastrointestinal pain than ever, because of the decisions that they're making and the things that they're eating. It also talked about the importance of like how people are getting benefits and healing in their kidneys, right? Heart disease is going away, high blood pressure is going away. They're even looking at this for sleep well, it was just approved for sleep apnea. They're looking at it for addiction support, right? So people who are addicted to alcohol or to drugs who are on GLP-1 medicines are coming off, because it is literally helping to trigger the brain that they are not enjoying those things that they were addicted to before. It kills the sugar craving, where people are not craving sugar, right, like they used to. And so I know for me, my biggest issue is sugar. Give me some cake, give me some sweets, give me some cookies, give me some pie. Um, Give me some ice cream, even though I'm lactose intolerant. It should not be eating it, and I will still find myself eating it. And so I was like, after hearing her video, I said, I'm just going to take the plunge. I'm just going to do it. So I called and I filled my prescription. And it ended up being ready about 3 days later. So I filled my prescription. It was ready on Thursday. I picked it up on Thursday, and I was like, I'm not even going to delay. I am going to jump full force in, and I am going to start my journey. And so I actually ended up starting my journey on February 14th, on Valentine's Day of 2025. And I'm going to be honest, it's been an amazing journey so far. It has been a journey. Nonetheless, let me tell you, this stuff right here definitely causes some side effects and some gastrointestinal issues. But I think I found myself, and I even ended up having a meeting with my doctor just last week and kind of talking to him about the journey so far. And I literally found myself saying, it's kind of like morning sickness or being pregnant, right? Like when a woman's pregnant, she experiences morning sickness. She experiences nausea, vomiting, right? All of these things, body changes, discomfort in the body, all of this stuff, sleep, you know, issues and all of these things. But the reward of having a child is worth those things in the first or the second or third or even fourth trimester. And so I have made the decision to go forth on this journey and to make it a long-term journey where I am going to do what I need to do, right? Eat how I need to eat, exercise how I need to exercise, have the support of my amazing, super sexy Superman of a husband. Let me tell you, when I tell you guys, my husband is so incredibly supportive through this journey. He is like my shining light through this. And so as I'm dealing with the traumas and breaking free of all of those things and the generational curses and the bad habits that have been created in 41 years of living, I'm definitely seeing a difference in my control over my appetite, my control over what I'm eating, my control over the thoughts of like, you're full, but go eat some more, right? My control over even like the emotional and the stress situations that come up and arise. I'm not going and binge eating like I used to when I'm having stressful situations. Food is not the answer. And so I am super, super thankful to be able to have the doctor that I have, to be able to be on this journey. I'm only on 2.5. And, we'll see about titrating up and what that looks like and going through this journey. And listen, I am living life out loud. I am no longer living quiet. I am no longer being uncertain about sharing my story. I'm going to share it. I'm going to enjoy this journey. I'm going to share the good, the bad, the ugly, and the great. I am going to be vocal about every experience. So if this is not for you, I'm going to talk about diarrhea, constipation, right? All of these things for myself, but also for those people out there who are uncertain about this journey. I'm going to talk about the good and the weight loss. I'm going to talk about, stalls when they may come, because I know it's a reality of weight loss. I'm going to talk about maintaining muscle and going through the process of like getting back into exercising again and doing all of these things. And I'm going to share it with you guys. And so if you are definitely here, for this journey for me, I'm going to go through like tips and things that have helped me through this journey, things that are beneficial, things that were not beneficial, bad advice I got, good advice I got. I'm going to go through it all. And not to mention, on this channel, my husband and I are also going to share our marriage experience through this journey. We're also going to share just our marriage experience and life as a whole. So you're going to see it all. You're going to see our traveling, everything. And I know you guys probably have seen our video together kind of talking through all of that. But I'm taking you guys on this journey with me. If you want to come, like, comment, subscribe, tap the notification bell so that you can be notified when videos are coming up. But join this journey with me. Take this walk with me. Hopefully it is a blessing to you. You're able to get some, some healing and some clarity through this. It is beneficial to you. The reality is I was either going to do gastric bypass or a sleeve, or I was going to try this. And I think before making the decision to like go under the knife and go into surgery and actually have my physical body altered, right, internally, for the rest of my life, I said, I'm going to try this. And so, yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and getting a little bit of backstory onto why I'm on this GLP-1 journey. I hope that you guys come along on this journey with me. And yeah, I'm excited. As you can see, I'm constantly smiling, which for a period of time, I wasn't doing this as much. But thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to stop there. Join me next week for my next video where I actually go through and kind of talk about each week and what I've been experiencing each week. And we'll go from there. Thank you guys so much. Be blessed, and I will see you guys again next week.